नियम्य भरतऋषभ पाप्मानं प्रजहीनम् ज्ञान विज्ञान नाशनम् स्मात्वम् इंद्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतऋषभ पाप्मानं प्रजहीयेम् ज्ञान विज्ञान नाशनम् स्मात्वम् इंद्रियाण्यादौ नियम्य भरतऋषभ पाप्मानं प्रजहीयेनम् ज्ञान विज्ञान नाशनम्. Have the other mic also? Yeah. Okay. You switch it on. Someone was doing that. You can read the translation.
Therefore, O Arjuna,
You need the mic.
Therefore, O Arjuna, best of the Bharatas, in the very beginning, curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses, and slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization.
Okay. And slay this destroyer of knowledge and self-realization. So, why is Krishna explaining about lust towards the end of the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad Gita to a good extent? Last 36 to 43. That means about 8 verses. Krishna is just talking about the danger of lust. Why? Because lust is one thing which keeps us bound to this material world. Sometimes lust, or oftentimes, lust is actually the main impediment to progress, irrespective of material or spiritual life. And what is lust? As soon as as soon as there is I want, immediately there is lust. Someone was sharing this post. One lady goes to, I don't know the authenticity of this post, but it has a nice message. One lady went to Buddha and she asked, I want happiness. What should I do? So Buddha said, cut out I and cut out want. What do you have remaining? Happiness. So it was something meaningful, therefore I quoted it. So there's a saying, if you like a flower, you pluck it. If you love a flower, you water it. That means even liking, or liking means one has this I want in it. How I can enjoy the flower. But when we talk about love, it is more selfless. How can I serve? Isn't it? Isn't it clear? So therefore, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Atmendriya Priti Vancha Dhare Atmendriya Priti Vancha Tare Bali Kam Krishnendriya Priti Cha Dhare Premanam. That means, what is the difference between love and lust? Lust is compared to iron. Love is like gold. Both are metal, but not the same. Lust means Atmendriya Priti Vancha. How can I please my senses, my mind and intelligence is called as lust. Krishnendriya Priti Icha Dhare Premanam. Love means how can I please Krishna? Immediately it is love. So what changes is the center of focus. Who in our life, what is in our center of focus? Is it just about me? If it is, then it is lust. Sometimes people say, okay, it's not about me, but it's about my family. That is called as extended sense gratification. And why? Because I am very important. Who else is important? Those who are connected to me. Because I am important. And therefore those who are connected to me are important. The projects I work on are very important. The company I work in is the most important. The state I belong to is the most precious and the most exalted state. Isn't it? All other states have defects. All other people have defects. But anything connected to me is very special. Because where is the center? Center is still me. Isn't it? Wow. So, love means center is not me, but center is someone else. But if that someone else is part of the material world, it is still lust. When that center of focus is Krishna, then it becomes love, selfless love. Why? Because the relationship between Jiva and Krishna is eternal, eternally existing. So you see, okay, I'll just complete the chapter and then I'll further continue. See, Krishna here, the Lord advised Arjuna to regulate the senses from the very beginning so that he could curb the greatest sinful enemy, lust, which destroys the urge for self-realization and specific knowledge of the self. To the degree we are succumbing to lust or overcome lust, to that degree our enthusiasm for self-realization will be minimized. That means if I'm surrounded by things and people I can enjoy, with which I can enjoy, then one attention to practice Krishna consciousness will never take place. Can I now quote the verse? Come to the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Bhuveshwarya prasaktana taya prita chesam vyavasayatmaka buddhi eke samano na vidiyate. That means he's saying that mind which is stolen away by Bhog Aishwarya, by materialistic sense enjoyment and opulence, that intelligence will never sit on self-realization. It is not possible. It is Taya Aprita. Taya Aprita Chesa means entire consciousness is stolen by sense gratification. And therefore self-realization can attend class. But that fire for really making progress in spiritual life will not happen. Till the time I'm satisfied enjoying in the material world, one can take shelter of Krishna. Therefore, you have to make a choice: Krishna or Maya. So in India we have Bhakti Model School. School for small children. How do we explain about Krishna or Maya? We have a small board with some pictures on it. For example, we show a board with temple. All the children will say Krishna. Then we show a board with mall. When you show, children will say Maya. Right? So we show different boards. Say iPhone. Maya. Or Krishna Prasad. Huh? Krishna Prasad is Krishna. See it as Krishna Prasad. Think it is meant for my enjoyment, it is Maya. Okay. What else is there? Opposite sex. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah. Or yeah, Krishna conscious drama. Krishna. See, I'm giving hint also, Krishna conscious drama. Isn't it? So they have such games for the children. Why? Because to the degree we make progress in spiritual life, the intelligence becomes razor sharp. That means clearly you can make a distinction what is right from what is wrong. Sharp intelligence. When one has blunt intelligence, what happens is he has to commit some mistake and get a kick to understand, oh, I was doing it wrong. That means the intelligence is not sharp to see well before that this was not the right thing to do. Isn't it? So, therefore Krishna is telling Arjuna, he's saying here, regulate the senses from the very beginning so that he could curb the greatest sinful enemy, lust, which destroys the urge for self-realization. So if we don't take any action towards overcoming lust, then what happens? Our urge to practice Krishna consciousness will not take place. One will be satisfied coming once a year for Janmashtami. As many people do. One person asked a new person, one devotee met him and said, "Oh, Prabhu, I'm seeing you for the first time. Have you ever come here?" He said, "Yes, Prabhu, I come here regularly. Every year once I come regularly." For the last 10 years I've been coming. That's not Regularly means weekly at least one should come. Yeah. So Krishna advises first one to regulate the senses. We'll come back to this. I'll just go down. So again, this is what we already talked about. What is lust? What is love? Lust is perverted reflection of love of God, which is natural to any living entity. Yeah. When love of God deteriorates into lust, it is very difficult to return to the normal condition. It means you have to put effort now. To degrade in this world is easy. Because material world is like a downstream flowing river. Don't do anything, you're naturally flowing downwards. Isn't it? To get into bad habits, very easy. To cultivate bad qualities, very easy. To cultivate good qualities, very difficult. Isn't it? So therefore, cultivating good qualities, becoming spiritual is swimming upstream. You need to put effort.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
what is that first
You
point
can
of,
take the mic so that people on this thing can hear. Yeah.
what is that first point of departure? And at what phase
I think it's
at what phase in the soul journey or a human body journey does it
human body has no journey. It's dead.
take one life or
One
many
life.
in that journey?
Okay.
Does it sort of initiate it? And what is the point of departure? Like the natural state begin for every soul is for one, and if so, how is it that what is the trajectory of departure away from the love of God towards gratification of the urges of senses?
Very good question. So Prabhupada explains that every living entity, spirit soul, belongs to the spiritual world. Love for Krishna is the property of the spirit soul in its natural constitutional position. That means pure water naturally, see it's very pure, it's crystalline, it's not crystalline, it's transparent. As soon as it touches the ground, it gets in touch with the dirt and becomes brownish or blackish. Similarly, the living entity in the spiritual world has complete love for God, but when that spiritual soul, on account of trying to enjoy separate from God, goes to this world, material world, that time it captures or bad qualities from the material world. So that point of departure from the spiritual world, why do we leave the spiritual world? Because of tendency to enjoy separate. That is the beginning of lust. Because in spiritual world, Krishna is the hero. Everyone is a hero. Heroine. I don't think it's American word. Only in India we say heroine. Yeah. So over there, everyone else, Krishna is the Purusha. Kalesh, Krishna, Arasabhabhutya. Everyone else is simply serving Krishna in whatever form. But Krishna is only supreme Purusha, enjoyer. So there, when Krishna is enjoying, say, dancing with gopas and he's dancing with the gopis, then one is thinking, hey, Krishna has a set of gopis, where my set of gopis? Immediately one will come down to material world. You can enjoy your set of gopis. Then when you try to enjoy here, you get kicks. Then one understands, I don't want to enjoy here. And he goes back.
There is another philosophy that soul is created for a purpose, and it need not be the case that you come down because of. This is one way, one explanation why someone departs and comes down from material world to earth. But there are other explanations as well, like the line of stream of thoughts or line of school of thoughts, I would say, where they say that soul is created for a particular purpose, to fulfill a particular purpose. There's many lifetime relations, things like that.
What is, can you tell me what is the purpose?
I don't know, to fulfill actually to fulfill the pilgrimage. Some people come here to maybe establish some temples, to write some books, or to play a particular role in
I will
the
tell you,
scheme of things.
there are two categories of souls. One soul is called the conditioned living entity. Also termed as Nitya Baddha. Nitya Baddha means when they come to material world, they have stayed here for such a long time, they are called as eternally staying in the material world. And the other category of souls are called as Nitya Siddha. They're eternally perfect, like Mother Yashoda, she'll never fall down to the material world. They're Nitya Siddha. So sometimes Krishna tells his most intimate circle of devotees, okay, why don't you go to the material world and you propagate Krishna consciousness and come. So then Srila Prabhupada has come. Then the Acharyas have come. These people are not Nitya Baddha like us. When I was giving the answer, I am talking from with respect to us, so it's relevant. When the acharyas come, they come for a specific purpose to propagate Krishna consciousness. That means to extend the will of God. Is that clear? These two categories are there. Anyone here acharya?
No, I'm not Acharya.
Okay.
I am-
You are the acharya. You are sitting here. Okay. Yeah. This is okay, Prabhu.
As you said, like one needs to be selfless. I feel majority of the people in this world are not selfless. They have a motive in their life, and that's to fulfill their own desires and desires surrounding like people around
Correct.
them. So we know that being selfless is a good part, but how can one be selfless? How can we cultivate that habit or induce that?
This is what we will understand at the end of the session.
Okay.
That means overcoming lust.
But if you see,
Yeah.
certainly, if you see the human biology, the reptilian part of the brain is that needs food, water, shelter, and sex, and it certainly gets activated sometime during the day or sometime during
Yeah.
a month or like any part. So it is there in our consciousness and it gets activated. But as you were talking about, if you want spiritual advancement, the cortex is
Have you heard of brahmacharis?
yeah, that's where cortex is developed, like the front part of the brain.
Okay.
And you connect or you can manifest things, and that they can come true to you. Like anything can come true if you do like celibacy or something like that.
Correct. So, at the same time, brahmacharya ashram is not for all. They can try it, but many who have they can go into grihastha ashrama. All those things are there. So, Krishna consciousness doesn't mean no union or one has to remain celibate. All how many of us are wearing saffron here? Isn't it? Yeah. So, what Krishna consciousness means is working for that ultimate purpose to please God. So Krishna says, Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarishava. That means that sex life which is in accordance with the Vedic principles, that sex is me, he says in the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma aviruddha bhuteshu. That means not be contradictory to dharma mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. That means if one is having illicit affairs, then it is against Vedic principle. To come together with one wife, to have Krishna conscious children, with one motive of the family to become Krishna consciousness and go back to spiritual world is completely justified in the scriptures. Otherwise, why would Pandavas marry? Why would many of the devotees like Prahlad marry? Dhruva married, Ambrish married. They're more grihasthas than brahmacharis and sannyasis or sages. Isn't it? And they are completely perfect. Also pure devotees.
Wasn't that like different when this is Kali
Yuga means more difficult to remain brahmachari.
Yeah.
Has to get married. In other yugas, it's easy to. In other yugas, more people would more men would go to retire to the forests and become sages. It's easy. Whereas sometimes, therefore, female population would be more, and one would marry more. Would have more number of wives. Not for sense gratification. See, today the whole paradigm is what sense gratification, sex life, sex desire, everything. Like once we were going on the road, this big truck had some writing at the back. Sex was written, and I thought, why is this fellow advertising sex? Below it said, okay, now that we have got your attention, and they advertise the product. You see, why? Because today people's minds are completely perverted and corrupted. So now other people take benefit, isn't it? So for example, I'll give you a shocking story. You know how Vyasadeva was born? Father is Parashar Muni. Now he was crossing the river. Somehow it is not working very well. So Parashar was crossing the river with Satyavati. She was the daughter of a fisherman. And now Parashar Muni told Satyavati, okay, now the time is right. You have to unite. Of course, many translators can translate in what pervert form they want. I have many of the literatures, the Puranas, English commentators from the West, they translate. So, you cannot read that Purana. You feel like a pornographic novel. Literally. Because the they translate, they put their non-conscious in that. So like that. So many people, when they translate this incident, they think now it's a lusty affair. You know what is going on in my mind? I think that this incident is also like that, but actually it's not. But Parashar Muni told Satyavati that now this is the right time for us to unite. Satyavati said, "What do you mean? What will people think if you unite in a boat, middle of the ocean?" He said, "No." He said, "By my mystic power, I can, create some type of fog so no one can see." And why this is the time to unite? Because the constellations are in the right position for us to unite so that a great soul, Vyasadeva, can come to this world. It's done on a matter of duty. I'll give you one more example. For example, Vichitra Virya? Vichitra Virya he was dead. So now Ambalika and who? Ambika. So now these three queens were there, but now they wanted heir to the throne. Isn't it? So now they had to, Vichitra Virya is gone. So now some connection is there to Vyasadeva, Vichitra Virya's connection, some sort of brother. According to Vedic regulations, if the man is not potent, if the husband is not potent, his brother can unite with the wife and give a son, and that son is considered to be the son of that husband and wife. The Vedic regulations are there.
Niyoga system. Niyoga.
I don't know.
That is Niyoga.
New system.
That's what.
Okay, I've heard.
Very easily.
So this is under the Vedic regulations. Why? Now whom did they call? Vyasadeva called. Great sage. Vyasadeva is saying they made an arrangement in the heart. Now you think Vyasadeva is a nasty book that is sitting, he is wanting union with the opposite sex? No. He is sitting with the great sage returned from the forest. He didn't even dress himself. He was looking so ghastly. The first lady who went in, she got scared and out of fear. She was trembling, uniting. So who was born? Pandu was born, who by nature made. Next lady went in and she looked at the ghastly form of Vyasadeva. He just came from the forest. Completely transcendental. When she looked at Vyasadeva, she saw that this Vyasadeva so ghastly and she closed her eyes. Who was born? Dhritarashtra. The third didn't go on. She sent her maid servant. The maid servant was with so much fun respect for this Vyasadeva, great sage. And with respect, she had this mood of respect while uniting. And therefore, who was born? Vidrupa. In this way, you find in those days now, Vyasadeva is not affected. Vyasadeva returned. He is not looking for anything. No material gratification. Now, Vyasadeva is great soul. So, in the earlier ages, these things were done, reproduction was done on a more duty platform. But in Kali Yuga, you cannot even think about it. Isn't it? The whole paradigm has shifted to concentrated sense gratification. So, therefore, these things cannot be understood. Now, if people others outside Vedic understanding come and hear these stories, what they'll say? How Vedas promote, perverted things. How it's a pervert literature. Why? Yeah, all those things. So why? Because they'll quote these many examples. Actually, it's not true. Why? Because these fellows cannot understand. Because they are on sense gratification platform and on Atmavan Manyate Jagat. Whatever is my level of consciousness, I think everyone else is like that. If I am lusty, I think, oh, poor fellows, everyone must be lusty. This is what the world is going on. Does it answer your question? I forgot. What?
It answered more than my question.
Huh?
It answered more than my question.
Okay, now I think talking about lust is the most relevant subject matter for the modern youth. Okay, this is 40. Okay, second. Indriyani paranyahur. Indriyebhyah param manah. Manasastu para buddhir. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. My translation.
The working senses are superior to the matter. Mind is higher than senses. Intelligence is higher than the mind. And the soul is even higher than intelligence.
Yeah. Krishna is telling above the sense objects, the senses. Above the senses, the mind. Above the mind is intelligence. Above the intelligence is you, soul. Why is he giving this gradation? he's telling actually, you know the three seating points of lust? Where are lust present?
Intelligence.
Mind, intelligence, and
No.
sense. Is it present in the soul?
No.
No. Only in mind, intelligence, and sense. Or should be reordered. Senses, mind, intelligence. It is an increasing order of the difficulty to control or curb lust. That means senses can be controlled the easiest, whereas mind is more difficult and intelligence is even more difficult. Therefore, Krishna is giving a hint to Arjuna. First of all, you control your senses. That's very easy. That means you want to eat nicely or eat Krishna Prasad. Don't eat meat. Don't eat eggs. Don't eat onion garlic. You know, as much as possible. So Krishna is saying these things. What what should we eat? People ask, how do vegetarians even eat? They think they eat grass picked from the ground. We eat much better than them. Actually, we cook fish and feed them, many are from vegetarians. Is it? So, when Krishna says, cut down herb lust at the nip it at the bud, what does it mean? That means we have to regulate. Regulating the senses means we have to engage the senses according to the principles mentioned in the Vedas. Vedas are eating, but what kind of food is mentioned? They allow earn livelihood, but how? Can we cheat others? Because one is Asia, can we get 10 times profit? No. Twice profit, done. After that, it's called as greed. See, this is Vedic regulations. How to work, how much to work, what's the goal of life. So, all this regulation is there. So, therefore, Krishna in this chapter says, Yukta ahar viharasya chittasya kamasu yukta swama bodhite yoga bhavati dukkha. One remedy to cure all dukkha is regulate your work. Don't work like a workaholic. Work is not the goal of life. Regulate your eating, regulate your recreation. Don't play all day. Work also. Don't work all day, play also. And regulate your sleep. Do this yoga bhavati dukkha. That means dukkha will come down, become minimum. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you want to overcome lust, first of all, control the senses. Don't let it go in any direction you want. Put, as they say, hold on to your horses. Horses are compared to the lust in the chariot analogy. So restrain your senses. Now if someone gets married, he has one wife. Now don't look at parastri. Matravat paradareshu. Then anyone apart from one's wife is like mother. You got married, done. So it's like that. So now similarly with respect to eating, relationships, sleeping, lifestyle habits, work, everything there's regulation. So it's easy to regulate the senses. Mind is even more difficult to purify or control, but it will happen gradually as one is practicing Krishna consciousness. So first, when we practice Krishna consciousness or any yogic path, Ashtanga Yoga starts with yam niyam, do's and don'ts. Because first is for the senses. Sleep early, get up early. Isn't it? Like that. And later on, of course, pratyahara comes later on. That also means control the senses. So like that. So here Krishna says sense is the easiest to control. Yeah. See, bodily action means function of the senses. Stopping the senses means stopping all bodily actions. But since the mind is active, then even though body may be silent or at rest, mind will act as it does during dreaming. So you cannot stop the senses artificially. You cannot put yourself in one room and close the doors forever. That will not happen. We should know how to engage the senses in a more positive activity. That is Krishna consciousness. So if someone likes music, one can do kirtan. He can learn instruments, one can sing. You like to dance, dance for Krishna. You like to cook, cook for Krishna. You like to work, okay, give part of your salary for Krishna. You like to construct a temple for Krishna. Anything can be dovetailed in Krishna Seva. It not only purifies senses, purifies the mind. And when we keep hearing the message of the Bhagavad Gita, it purifies intelligence. In this way, as everything gets purified, one becomes more and more satisfied in Krishna consciousness. Am I making sense? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. Okay. You see, in the Upanishad, a similar passage in which it is said the object of sense gratification are superior to the senses, and mind is superior to the sense objects. If therefore mind is directly engaged in the service of the Lord constantly, then there is no chance that the senses will become engaged in other ways. Somehow or other, it has to get mind has to think about Krishna. See, this mental attitude has already been explained. Param drishtva vartate. If mind is engaged in transcendental service of the Lord, no chance of it being engaged in lower propensities. So, in South India, there was a great king called as Yamunacharya. Yamunacharya was devotee when he was small, but later on he got kingdom and he became very a successful ruler. And naturally, because he was king, many wives, filled with opulence, he got a little distracted from Krishna consciousness. So later on, one other devotee, he somehow was trying to bring back Yamunacharya, and he took him out and started giving him passages of Bhagavad Gita, reading out to him. As he heard Bhagavad Gita again after many years, immediately he remembered his supreme Lord of life, Krishna. Then he started crying tears in Bhagavad Gita. At that time, he quoted a verse. He recited a verse. Yad avadhi machet Krishna paravente navan rasadhanyuddham rantmasit tadnavti bhatari sangame smaryane avati mukha vikashushtu nithivancha. Saying, avadhi mama cheta Krishna paravente. Now, since time I again turned my head at the lotus feet of Krishna, that means I'm experiencing newer and newer rasas in service of Krishna. Ever fresh. That is spiritual life, ever fresh. Material life is chewing the chewing a bubble gum. After some time it goes. Then you get jaw pain. My spiritual life is every bite, every chewing, you get newer and newer flavor, apple flavor, then mango flavor, then different flavor like that. That is spiritual life. This Yamunacharya is saying. Then he says, when I'm relishing Krishna consciousness like this, if a thought of sense gratification comes in my mind, immediately I curl my tongue and lips and spit at that thought. He says. Now, when he was a king, he was succumbing to sense gratification, and now he is able to spit at the thought of sense gratification, at selfish enjoyment. How? Because he got something higher in life. Higher taste. That means if you have something higher taste in anything, you will give up lower. Give up to go up. That is the principle. So Yamunacharya gave up the materialistic sense enjoyment because he got a relish for spiritual enjoyment. Similarly, if you want to take a better subject, you will give up a lower subject, isn't it? If you want good qualities, you have to give up bad qualities. This is a principle, you will see. So this is give up to go up. So therefore, Prabhupada is saying here, if the mind gets a taste for Krishna Seva, for chanting the holy name, it will not go back to bad habits again. This is how one overcomes. So somehow or the other, we have to make sure our senses are engaged in Krishna Seva and mind is engaged in some sort of connection with Krishna. Either it's thinking about some bhajan, kirtan, katha, or it is thinking about Krishna's beautiful deity form. We have so many darshan, you can subscribe to daily darshan. Somehow or the other, the mind has to be focused on Krishna. Then immediately, mind will not go to Maya. This is the key to overcoming lust. Mind has to be busy for Krishna. Mind has to be busy either ways. You cannot stop the mind. Mind is active. You cannot stop it. But now if the mind is active, let it be active for Krishna. Then one will be peaceful. Then he can look at Maya and turn the other way. As of now, for us, what is our stage? You have to close your eyes. Don't look at Maya. Then you are safe. If you look at Maya, one comes. Like sometimes we want to fast from, sweets. For me, it's so easy to fast if I'm simply staying in my room. If I come to prasadam table and look at the sweet box, it's very difficult to resist. Then I have to take. Isn't it? If someone else, brings a plate for me, prasadam plate, then I don't take because out of sight, of mind. Isn't it? So beginning level, this is where we should be. Better to position ourselves in such places where we are not in touch with those attachments where we become weak. So out of sight, out of mind. Someone has weakness for websites. Then better to put, you have parental control. Many university students, we do that. We put parental control and make no one can access any site. So out of mind. Then they become peaceful. Over years of practice of Krishna consciousness, they become so strong. Even if you give them free internet, they will access back sites. Strength developed by practicing Krishna consciousness. That means do the right, detach from the wrong. Over time, you do it, immediately detachment created from the wrong. How many of you will understand this? Yeah. Therefore, we have 4 regular principles. Don't be shocked. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no sex. Well, one can say, Prabhu, how is this possible to follow? Just follow it while being engaged in Krishna Seva. When you follow these 4 regs over time, one becomes detached from these 4 regs. Detached means he no more has an inclination to break these regular principles. The inclination itself gets purified. So therefore, param drishtva nivartate. Higher taste in Krishna consciousness is most important. Okay. Now we come to the last one. Can you please repeat? Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhyatmanam atmana jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. Yeah, where's the mic? Yeah.
Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence. O mighty armed Arjun, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust.
So the mind is the problem. Why? Because the past experiences, desires, which are materialistic desires or sinful desires, and thoughts are stored in the mind. You're chanting Hare Krishna, but mind is telling, hey, go and enjoy this. Isn't it? Or you're studying, mind says, go elsewhere. So mind is the problem. So how do you overcome the mind? Krishna is giving a secret, releasing a secret. By deliberate spiritual intelligence. That means the intelligence has to get purified to know what is right from what is wrong. For example, you're hearing this class. Now, some level of awareness has been created. What Krishna is speaking here. We got to know something more. We got little enlightened from this wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita. So now, we have to apply this intelligence. So tomorrow mind will say, okay, go there. Immediately the intelligence should instruct the mind. Not required. If I go there, I'll simply waste my time. I have no time. I have to go to temple in the evening for seva. So better I complete my work and go there. Isn't it? So intelligence is working now. So deliberate spiritual intelligence means what? We have to consciously employ the intelligence to control the mind. And when we keep nourishing our intelligence with the spiritual message, then intelligence becomes strong. And therefore, the next chapter, chapter 4 is, what is the title of chapter 4? Transcendental knowledge. Because mind gets purified and intelligence gets nourished with transcendental knowledge. So therefore, Krishna tells Arjuna, you will get spiritual strength at your intelligence level. And you can control your mind with this spiritual knowledge. And therefore, in chapter 4, Krishna starts speaking about what is that transcendental knowledge. And who can actually understand transcendental knowledge. It's only with the help of transcendental knowledge we get spiritual strength to control or overcome misgivings of the heart, lust, anger, greed. So in short, today we discussed about basically how to overcome lust. Can anyone say one or a couple of tips? How do we overcome lust?
like constantly being engaged in service of the Supreme.
Very good. Yeah, keeping the mind engaged in Krishna Seva. Very good, thank you. And Seva also means chanting is also Seva. Japa Seva. Yajnanam Japa Yajñosmi. Of all the yajnas, I am the Japa Yajna. Yeah.
Is the mind naturally created to host lust by default, or is it because of that detachment?
Naturally, mind is created as a storehouse, hard disk. So what we have, what decisions we have taken, whatever stimulus we have come across, it is still in the mind. So mind is just a hard disk. It stores the desire, stores the experiences.
If it is for those who want to,
Can you give it back? For my work, you have to switch it on. Hope we are speaking. Spoke, switched it on.
so if the reason that soul took the body form, came on earth was because they wanted to enjoy how Krishna was enjoying how this, then why did that earth was created in the first place? Isn't it a different story?
Example, if you're planning, you're given the responsibility to plan out a city. Now, in city, there are many things to plan. Where should the school come? Where should the park be? Where is the residential of the city? And where is the prison house? Why are you creating prison house beforehand? Means we know some fools will be there who will commit crime.
So it means that earth is not entirely a prison house, but those who got detached, departed to begin with,
I will not call that detachment. It will be a wrong use of the word.
distracted,
Yeah, distract is a good word.
so then they carry their own prison within, basically.
Prison and the material world itself is like a prison. How do you understand the world is a prison? Who is the jailkeeper of this prison? Sorry?
Senses.
Oh, jailkeeper is a person.
Who keeps records of a sin?
Yeah, so who is that person here? You are the, no. Jailkeeper is the one who also break the stone. Hey, go do, and he also gives punishment to people in the prison. It is Durga Devi. Her Trishul is a Tapya. Adi Bodh Klesh, Adi Klesh, Adi Dekh Klesh. That means misery is due to body and mind, misery is due to others, and misery is due to natural calamities. She is the one inflicting upon living entities, isn't it? So she is the jailkeeper. Now, what is prisoners? They wear black and white, some sort of uniform. How do we understand that? What is our uniform?
Human body.
Not just human body, material body. Any material body is our prison clothes. Because in spiritual world, you are not bound by material body. In prison house, you don't have to worry about eating at night, and then you have to worry, morning whether it will be digested or not. There's nothing like that in spiritual body. Spiritual body doesn't sweat. Spiritual body doesn't stink. Spiritual body, there's no restriction. This material body is like a restriction. Therefore, the liberals who want freedom, they tend towards becoming naked because they want to get out of the body, but they don't have so much intelligence. They just remove clothes. Isn't it? Because they want to be free. That freedom is restricted by having this material body. So this is like the uniform prisoners wear. Freedom means you can wear what you want. That's spiritual world, this freedom. And then so this jail is the material world. So you got to know what is jail, who the jailkeeper is, and what is the uniform we are wearing as the material body. Now, material nature also gives you some food supplies. This is like the jailkeeper giving you some food to survive. If you do good work, the jailkeeper will open the gates. You can go back to spiritual world. If one is always naughty, he's stuck in the jail. If you do little naughty activity, or if you're little getting better, you're promoted to A class jail. If you do more naughty activity, you're going to demote to C class jail. But one remains in the jail by good activity, bad activity. But when one follows the laws put by the government, then the jail is open, one can go back. Similarly, one follows the laws of God, he goes to spiritual world. It doesn't make sense?
So one shouldn't enjoy Maya.
Of course not. How can you enjoy Maya? It's illusion. Isn't it? Maya means illusion. It's like saying, so that means one should not drink water in a mirage. Of course, there's no water. You cannot drink water from there. But we don't say you should not drink water. You should drink water from a water source. But don't try to drink water from a mirage. Like the deer in the desert starts running to the mirage in search of water. Running, just to find there's no water. But it seems that, oh, there's some water further ahead. Again continues to run under the hot sun and drops dead. We should not become like that here. So,
Is there more to this earth other than this prison system?
you're not able to finish this.
I can go back to
How can I satisfy the earth?
give satisfy question.
Is there something more to this earth other than being a prison
Like,
thing?
what is
Okay.
purpose for this creation of
I can give you, I can give you another understanding. This material world is like a hospital. We can compare material world to a hospital. The hospital, because we are diseased with the material disease of lust. Doctors are the acharyas, the great spiritual teachers who are coming to teach us. And we have to take medicine of prescription of the holy name, chanting it, and reading Bhagavad Gita and following the instructions. They give patya, prescription. This is what you should do. Don't eat pakoras, don't eat this, do some fasting sometimes. This is their prescription. And therefore, in a hospital, we get well. And therefore, material world can be a reformation center. We have to reform and understand our true constitutional position. That means, what is our true constitutional position as the spirit soul? Spirit soul means the dharma of spirit soul is to serve, love and serve God. When we understand that, when we want to be in line with the Vedic principles, with a in line with the will of God, then the spirit soul goes back to spiritual world. Then there's no problem. Because in spiritual world, one enjoy, Krishna. If you want to become second enjoyer, Krishna says, you cannot do that here. Because there's only one enjoyer. It will be unnatural for you. You won't be happy this way. But we say, no, like an adamant child, I want to enjoy. Then what does a parent do? Okay, if a small daughter is saying, I also want to cook on the stove like you are cooking, the mother purchases a toy kitchen. That is the material world. Now you play with your toy kitchen. So now you are cooking, you are putting some salt, whatever. The small child is cooking in the toy kitchen. But when it gets hungry, does it fulfill itself with the toy kitchen? It has to go to mother, the spiritual world, in the actual kitchen. So now when we are trying to enjoy here, putting salt, pepper, artificial stuff, something, as our play. When we really want, now we are tired of around, we really want happiness. This material world only treated us now. Now we go back to original parent Krishna and say, okay, I understood. Without you, I can't be happy. So you are the enjoyer. I am happy to serve you. When the daughter understands, mother, you are the one who cook. Now you just feed me. I'm happy. The child will be happy. But is it understandable? Okay. So any few more points? What you understood? Yeah.
I just wanted to
Anything
ask,
they
like,
make? We can just pass the mic.
so it's not that there is no enjoyment, it's just enjoy in the service of Krishna.
Of course, yes.
Yes, enjoy in the beauty.
Then before I said, I'm not saying don't drink water. Drink water from actual water source.
Yeah, so there is no enjoyment.
Yeah. It is there. How many of you cry while eating sadam? Especially rasgulla? No, we are all most joyful when we eating, isn't it? I mean, enjoyment is definitely there. If enjoyment is not there, who will take saffron, giving up everything? Because there's some enjoyment, we do it. Right. Okay. Yeah, any few more tips on overcoming that? Yes, Prabhu. Can you make just keep it on. You don't have to switch it on. Don't switch it on.
Discard the lower taste to get higher taste.
Very good. Yes. Give up. One should not be attached to lower taste. In pursuit of higher taste, some lower things we have to give up. Very good. One of the most vital points. Thank you. Yeah.
Controlling the lust at the
You
lower
have to-
level. It's fine. Like
I can repeat. Yeah.
how we have senses said there are multiple layers to it. So trying to control it at lower level only.
Okay, senses level. First
Yeah,
regulate the
like,
senses.
As you said, nip in the bud. Like
Correct.
the more we'll try it, we'll just keep progressing to the various.
Very
levels.
good. Yeah. So Krishna says, therefore, regulate the senses. Directly, if you jump to controlling the mind, one will get frustrated. What does that mean? Some people don't want to control senses. They want to eat what they want. They want to do what they want. But they want mind to be controlled. How is that possible? You one will only end up being frustrated. So therefore, first of all, curb the senses. Senses have to be regulated. Then mind and intelligence will get gradually purified. How? Mind has to be fixed on Krishna, regulate the senses, and intelligence purified by study of Shastra. You three things you do, immediately one can gradually can overcome lust. Thank you.
Make Krishna
Yes.
the center of your life.
Make Krishna the center of your life. Yes, that's the key point, because lust by definition means something other than Krishna is in the center. Mostly us, not anyone else. We will keep ourselves in the center. Yeah. So Atmendriya Priti Vancha Dhare Tare Bali Kam Krishna Indriya Priti Icha Dhare Premanam. This is the difference between love and lust. Very good. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. This is tricky. Okay. So, good news is now we have completed chapter 3 after a lot of revisions. Some of the sessions I only did revision because not very easy to grasp the points on Nishkam Karma Yoga, Sakama Karma Yoga, Yajna and other concepts mentioned. But of course, Gita is a literature which you have to keep studying over and over again. It's a lifetime study. What Krishna spoke in 1 hour, what Arjuna understood in 1 hour, we are studying for a lifetime. Hence, Kali Yuga Jivas. So, but at the same time, whenever we study Bhagavad Gita, it's not a mechanical study of, you're studying physics textbook or something. Every time you study Bhagavad Gita, you're going to get deeper and newer realizations. So, whatever we could do, we have done till now. But it's time for us to proceed ahead. Therefore, the next chapter is called as Transcendental Knowledge. Because with transcendental knowledge, we are enlightened to what is our position, what is Krishna's position. When you understand this reality, immediately you think, what am I doing in the material world? My goal of life was something else, but this is my goal of life. We'll redefine the success in our life. So this will start next time. Okay? We'll stop it. Shri Prabhupada ki. So you kept them here? Okay. So Prasad is second. No, has to worry. So I was thinking, you can just stand 5 minutes